What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. It is another win for Palace. 5 games unbeaten, 1 goal conceded in the last 5. Happy days, clean sheet. We've won a game after the international break. Overall, a lot of stuff that normally goes against us, especially with struggling after international break. We managed to get the job done. I'm joined by Hambo here. The lines will be open as well, where you can call into the show. But as always, make sure to get involved throughout the show by clicking on the like button if you do enjoy it, as well as subscribing and letting us know your thoughts in the comment section down below and in the live comment section as well. We'll be open up the lines in a few minutes time. Hambo,
hello.
Great win. I mean,
it was
up until a certain point of the second half, it seemed like, especially with how Wolves started, it looked a bit shaky. But in the end, 2-0 win, clean sheet. They didn't have a shot on target. What was your thoughts on the game?
It was, yeah. I mean, one of those games that in the past would definitely have tripped us up. I think there was a lot going on, wasn't there? Obviously, Rob Edwards, decent manager. Was quite surprised he took on that job. You just think you're going to end up swapping positions with your old club at the end of the season. So a bit of a strange one, but he's got a history there, obviously. And I think basically what we did really well was we kind of just accepted that there was going to be an intensity from Wolves that was missing from the rest of their season. They're not, hate to say it, but sorry, Wolves fans, but they're not a very good team. Wolves, they're really not. So, but if you get that group of players together, and they've got a couple of excellent players, and you get them to work really hard and get them some confidence, then they can be a hard team to play against. And I think we did a really good job of just kind of accepting that and just going, okay, they've got a new manager. There is such a thing as new manager bounce, but whatever happens, if you get somebody in who organises and brings confidence up, it's going to be a tough game. So we went into it, accepted it was going to be a tough game. I think as fans, it's harder to deal with that, isn't it? When you're looking at a performance and you start to nitpick, don't you? Like final ball should be better. We should be, moving the ball a bit quicker. But I actually think we played extremely well. And I think a lot of people will say we had a bad day and got away with it, but I don't believe that. I believe we played the situation and we played the game extremely well. And there are a few exceptional performances and a really decent display overall. And I'm really happy we got the win, because you'd have thought as well, I'm sure, like a lot of people at home watching that game, you'd have thought, this is that it's got 1-0 Wolves written all over it kind of thing. It was just feeling that way. Mateta missing that early chance, and you're just like, oh, here we go, going to be that kind of a story. But genuinely delighted, and I think we got to be really proud of the lads for that performance, because a lot of players away international duty come back, put that performance on, 4th in the table. How can you not be delighted with that?
Yeah, and the clean sheet as well. We're saying that. I mean, we still create chances even in first half, and being at least 1-0 up. So it wasn't like it was a dreadful performance, but I did feel like going into half time, and I'm not too sure about you, I think we've done everything well in terms of defensively in midfield up until we reached the final third, also into the box. I mean, we didn't create that many chances. We didn't cause Sam Johnson that many problems. I don't think the set pieces were great as well in the first half. But we saying that, we still had a big chance. It wasn't like we done absolutely nothing in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point, because it did feel like the front was a little bit disjointed, and obviously Mateta going off after an hour. People remember he missed a big chance. I think again you have to look at the opposition today. Wolves are a very big, very physical team, and they were up for it. So I think Mateta's hour will kind of go unappreciated to some degree, because first of all, as I keep saying, he missed the big chance in the first half, and the game probably is a bit more comfortable if he scores that. But also, he didn't really, there wasn't anything noticeable that you could say. It was one really good pass out wide, but other than that, it was a lot of working hard, running channels. I think he only had 15 touches in the entire hour he was on, which is not great. But the work he did in occupying that defence and running them and keeping them back will go unappreciated, but it was good. So he put in a good shift, but we were struggling to really damage anybody in the final third until Nketiah came on with a bit more directness, a bit more pace, buzzed about. Really good performance for him, and really Pino was the one who kind of lifted his standards. Really good intensity today. Tried dribbling quite a lot and failed a few times in the first half, but didn't let it get him down. Kept going, pushing, and his quality shone through. And obviously, we talk about goals, but what a strike from him and for his first Palace goal, and one of the top performers today.
Yeah, 100%. Let's quickly land on Mateta then. There was, conversation going around on social media about his performance. You mentioned 15 touches, but I don't even want to focus on the 15 touches, even though that's an element of his game where he's very much involved. One-on-ones, is there an issue now? I mean, so far this season, it's become a common theme early on in the season of him having time on the ball and somehow overthinking it. But it seems like when he has less time on the ball, when straight instinct, he's fantastic.
True for a lot of players. Instinctive, when you play instinctively, it's a bit easier. It, D, from your time on the pitch, and obviously you've seen me play, so we're instinctive players ourselves, aren't we? And
I'm great with time on the ball as well. I can do both, but I know what you mean.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah,
I see people around me who have struggled with time on the ball, but yeah.
But it's the instinct is where the magic happens, But yeah, it is that. It's joking aside, it is that. It's absolutely having a bit too much time. And look, he's not a player with tremendous pace, is he? I think when he's played a lot of football. Let's face it, played an awful lot of football this season already. And you see it when he sometimes he does have that little burst and that little bit to get away and hold off defence. He didn't quite have that today. He didn't get ahead of anybody, so he kind of felt to me like he was it took him longer to get to the point where he had to take the shot. I think if he could get a little bit quicker, get a little bit closer, I think that's probably an easier finish. And again, maybe Sam Johnstone gets the right angles, didn't come steaming out, but also didn't stay back. Maybe he gets that right as well and just puts the onus on Mateta to score. But look, he does miss a reasonable proportion of one-on-ones. And, his XG sometimes is unbelievable. But yeah, he does miss big chances. Again, I'm sure there's some stats flying about, but you got to remember what he does contribute. And I refer to what I said earlier, which is the physicality, the work in the defense, but also, in terms of strikers in the Premier League, he's right up there in terms of performance, in terms of goals scored, movement, chances created. We're trying to get him on a longer contract. Other teams are looking at him, and he's, two starts for France. I nearly said Wales there. 2 starts for France and two goals, from his 3 caps. And it's just like, he is a top striker, but not even the best strikers are perfect every game. So a little bit of a dip, a little bit in terms of just the clinical taking every chance, but he still takes a lot of chances, and he's still a fantastic striker to lead the line.
Saying that, I think Eddie has been very good this season coming off the bench, and we saw what we've been missing basically in the last, I don't know how many games it's been since he's had that injury, but today I thought when he did come on, we scored a goal from the corner very close to the time that he came on, and that probably impacted the game as well after being 1-0 up, and the fans now, after he scored the first goal against the side that's only picked up 2 points, they're going to have a natural slump. We've known that, but I did think when Eddie came on, especially today, the first touch was fantastic. I thought he brought players into the game, and he's actually, I can sense that Glasner this season, sees him as a viable option, and he's becoming a competition now, not for JP, but for the whole front three. It's good to see him come on in the number 9 position, because he's coming on mainly as a 10.
Well, if you look at, again, I think it was perfect for him to come into the game today on the hour mark, because, again, as I said earlier, the way Wolves play the sort of structure they were playing with the defenders that they've got, very physical, big presence, make it really, really hard for a kind of pivot forward like Mateta. But in order, taking Mateta out of that, it wasn't really a like for like swap, was it? It wasn't like Mateta off and Nketiah went and played centre forward. Saab played more central than he did for most of it, but they were able to interchange those positions a lot easier. And that's that gives us a little bit of something different, doesn't it? The fated plan B that people like to talk about when plan A doesn't work. Plan B is in a forward sense. If you've got no JP, you've got a very fluid front line. You don't ideally want Pino as your kind of pivot, your centre forward, but he can drift into the centre and score. But that front three worked really, really well with and without Mateta. And Nketiah, since this season has started and he's been fit, shame he had the injury break, but he's looked a different player, hasn't he? He's just looked so much sharper, so much more confident. And he's going to push, as you say, all those front three for their positions, and rightly so. Good player.
Yeah, 100%. If you haven't already done so and are enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. It takes a second of your time, but it helps us out massively. And also the lines are open as well. So if you do want to call into the show, I have pinned the comment, and you can click on the pinned comment to join us live this late afternoon, early evening. Well, depending on where you are in the world. Let's go to some of the callers. Let's start off with Alex. Alex, 2-0 win, 1 goal conceded in the last 5 games. I'll be honest, I think this all started from the Liverpool game. Of course, since then we've been unbeaten, but that gave us a bit of confidence. And now it seems like we're back to, even though it wasn't the best of performances today, we're back to winning games no matter how good we play. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I'll talk about how good we play, but just Jeremy Pino down the wing. No, like I wish I was there. Like that, I love that chant. You guys need to come up with some more like that at Strasbourg, because like I think so much of that happened in Poland, and like what that was the Kamada chant and the Pino chant, and that's the type of stuff that makes me proud to be a fan, because like that was all you guys. So some people at a bar singing at a bar, and then it comes on the field. So I hope to hear more stuff like that.
A fantastic goal from him today as well.
Oh yeah, I am gonna say that Johnston should be hitting that on the post. I'm sorry. It's a great hit by Pino, but he gets a hand to it and it almost hits the post. It's not his best work, Sam Johnston. But I'm happy. Look, I got to hold an L today because I've been on social media all week saying that I think we're going to lose Wolves and win Strasbourg. I hope it's not the other way around, because I really care more at this point about the Conference League. But
why do you think we would lose today against a side that hasn't won a single game all season?
I thought, okay, here's the thing. I thought that we as a whole played actually fairly well for all but about 20 minutes today. I would say there was the 5 minutes where Dino makes an incredible save, by the way, because like I don't know if you see it when you're there, like anyone who went to the game, but it's a massive deflection. So if Dino doesn't put his foot out, like that's an easy goal. And yes, maybe the other person should be scoring. Other than that, in the first half, we had them. We were playing really well. We were comfortable. And I thought that we were playing well in possession. Kamada didn't have his greatest game, but just looking back at their stats, him and Wharton, they were just constantly tackling, giving them issues and stuff like that. And it was the one-touch passing, like the one-touch Pino to Mateta, that makes the whole play. And yeah, Mateta had way too much time on that. I'm having a hard time remembering when he gets one-on-ones and scores now. That's the issue.
Yeah, I can't remember as well. But
he's such a good instinctive scorer. Yeah. But yeah. And then the first 15 minutes of the second half, we were definitely second. Again, though, I have to shout out Pino. He makes a really nice cutback to Sarr on his weak foot. Like that was right before we score the first goal. And I don't know. Anybody who is like digging out Pino after that first half needs to get a life. Honestly, like he was great in the first half too.
Yeah, I don't think he was that bad. I was surprised. I saw some of the comments online. I was a bit surprised about.
Well, people were saying, was bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? He misplaced. Okay, you know what I think it is I think it's the crosses. People think that if you are crap at crosses the game, that's the only thing that they notice. And we were. Like we didn't get on any crosses for the most part, even some of the ones that Munoz was really close on. But I thought we played great. Like I thought we played okay, but we looked like we weren't going to score because we just couldn't like finish any sort of play, giving ourselves a good chance outside of the Mateta play, the Mateta pass. So I guess once that goal happens, and what a wacky goal that was from Munoz, it was comfortable. And Nketiah starts that goal by getting the corner out of nothing. That was really good. And then the second goal, it's all Kamada and Wharton. Kamada cuts off the pass, Wharton one touch to Pino, and then obviously it's all Pino too. But I credit to those two on that play. And again, I don't think Kamada had a good game, but the way that him and Wharton played, they were relentless. And it was really difficult for Wolves to get a foothold in the middle. And I think what worked for them for 15 minutes was just basically keeping a person on each one of them at all times. And that was starting to turn the game until Nketiah got in. So, good performance. I think it was a good performance. I don't think we played poorly. And I might be on the minority on that one. Because
No, I don't.
They have 2 points. On paper, they are terrible. But
you certainly shouldn't be in the minority. And there's a really interesting point you made about people, digging out Pino or in the first half Wharton, which again I'm amazed by.
I'm baffled
but
by
like
Wharton. Like you could tell that they were just enamored by him on the commentary. They just couldn't believe some of the passes he was getting off.
His overall performance today was just incredible. I mean, again, if you look at how we played, again, anyone who keeps an eye on the stats of how we played, most of the time our back three have the most touches of any players on the pitch, because that's where we just bide our time, we play it, we get a rhythm, and then we push through. But Wharton today was in terms of performance and in terms of touches, was just head and shoulders above everybody.
He was like a metronome today.
It was
like
incredible.
I want to give credit, by the way. Like Lou and Tim make great points about one-touch passing and how important it is. When you fuck it up, oh my God! Like that's what happened on the Wolves' second concession. Was it's just it's a poor one-touch. Kamada gets right in the lane, and that's what happens. So that's why when you have somebody that does as many one-touch passes as he does, and so like he made, what it was one giant F up by Wharton in the first half. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he put somebody through on goal.
He did.
Okay. Yeah. And that was a one-touch pass. That's what happens when you have a lot of them, and it's so rare that he does that. So I want to give him just a lot of credit. It's going to be something where a Forest fan's going to see the game, and he's going to be like, what's the big deal? And if you take your agendas outside and you just watch the player for who he is, you can tell that he's a very, very good player. As you can for Elliot Anderson. Go figure. Wow.
Yeah, you'll have to have two good players on it. No, it's it's that age-old thing, isn't it? Where people see a glaring mistake or that final third pass. If we used to get it with Zaha all the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because he would try stuff over and over and over. Oh, Zaha had a terrible game today. Actually, no, he didn't. You just remember the fact that he tried 4 or 5 final third passes that didn't come off, so you think he had a terrible game.
I think that's what happened to Pino. Yeah, that's what happened to Pino today. Because I thought overall he's having a very good game, but I think people just remember the attempts that he done. Some of the attempts, of course, he didn't have 100% passing accuracy, but I thought stuff he was good.
That's one of the best passes I've seen us make all year, though, to Mateta for the one-on-one. That one touch, beautiful. Yeah.
So it was positive, but yeah, Alex. Great having you on. Hopefully catch up with you after Strasbourg.
Yeah, man. What do you think? Are you feeling how are you guys feeling about Strasbourg before I get off?
I mean, I think Strasbourg, they are a good side, but I think we've got enough to beat them. So hopefully we go get the job done, especially with them playing at home. I expect them, to not sit back. They're not even a side that normally sits back anyway. So I think it should suit us in terms of how we like to play. And yeah, I think I'm confident about the game.
Yeah, how can you not be confident with this manager and this team? We've got a solution for everything, and look, sometimes it doesn't work, and we accept it. But we know you're going to go into that game with a plan to win it, and chances are, well, we've got a very good opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Let's
as
see.
much as I want to see someone 2-foot that Brighton fraud in CISO, I got a good feeling, and I hope I didn't curse that. Yeah.
Let's see. Hope he doesn't score against us. Well, look, Alex, catch up with you again soon. Take care.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.
If you do want to call into the show, you can do so by clicking on the link in the pinned comments. We are on. Let's see how many likes we're on before we bring on the next guest. We're slowly creeping on 100. We're on 58 right now.
I'll pop on and like it because I'm enjoying the show.
Yeah. You might as well. Let's bring on Animal next. Animal, 2-0 win, clean sheet. Look, overall, the last 5 games we've been very good, but today we managed to get the job done, despite some people saying that it wasn't a good performance. What was your thoughts on the game?
Well, look, first of all, I was in my favourite ramen place watching the game today on my phone because unfortunately things took a little bit longer for us today, and that's what I ended up having to do. So I wasn't exactly like fully into the game, but I saw some key moments. I saw Mateta's 1v1. I saw both the goals. But yeah, I thought it was a scrappy game. Wolves brought the physicality, which is kind of what I was expecting. Oh, what was the player's name? Tolu? Was it Tolu? He was all over us. So yeah, they made it difficult for us for sure. And to get a win out here today was a very important thing to do because we're not normally great the first game back after the international break. So yeah, a really important win. And I don't really agree with the idea that we had a poor game. From what I saw, it's just sort of more of the same. We are one of the best teams in the league off the ball. And I think there's a lot of fans that want to see us, this sort of all-out attacking, like the kind of Ange Postecoglou Tottenham thing, where they want to see beautiful football and it works for a little bit, but it's not something that's going to get you sort of long-term success, So I think we just hunker down to how Glasner plays and his system, and trust the man, and we're going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to not trust Glasner. Honestly, if there's anyone that doesn't trust him with his decision making, considering what he's achieved in a short span of time. But yeah, I don't think it was a bad performance. I just felt like maybe in the final third, especially in first half, we didn't create that much. And Wolves, they came out of that, halftime team talk. Of course, they're hungry, they're fighting for points, and they're playing at home, and kind of, controlled the play at the start of the second half. But it wasn't something like Wolves dominated the second half. They didn't even have a single shot on target the entire game. So it was just a 10-15 minute spell. Apart from that, I felt like we controlled it. I mean, you don't have to control the game just by having possession. You can control the game out of possession as well. And I think we still done that. Despite Wolves having the ball in that start of the second half, they still didn't create much. And I think that goes credit to our defense. Our defense has been fantastic. And before the Liverpool game, I did feel like 1 or 2 individual errors have been costing us in terms of leaking goals, but nothing like overly concerned. And I think the difference is now we're back to normal. Those individual errors are out, and that's why we've only conceded 1 goal in the last 5 games. But Yeremy Pino is a player which a lot of people have been talking about, and rightly so, as he is the Eze replacement. But what did you make of his performance, and what a goal today as well?
Fantastic goal, really good goal. I saw that happen, and I knew as soon as he got on it, and the way his body was like was kind of turned. He wasn't sort of flush onto goal. I knew it was going to be this beautiful sort of swinging goal into the net. It was really good to see, and I'm so happy for him. Because it's true that a new player comes into a position where we've had a fan favorite in the past, and they're sort of under extra scrutiny rather than sort of giving them time. We saw it with Kamada, and we're going to continue to see it with Pino. But for me now, like, I had such a bad season with the Kamada troubles last season that now it's like, fans are going to do what fans are going to do, you know. And if people aren't happy with it, then just let it roll, man. Because Pino's playing, and he's doing really well. I think better coming up to speed in the Prem than Kamada was last season. So I think we've still got a lot to see from Pino. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every player needs adjustment period. Some need it more than others. And if you look at how early on in the season it still is, I know we played a lot of games. I do think some people were writing off Pino a bit too early. Now, I'm not saying that after today, he's achieved everything with Palace. No, I think it was a positive performance. But you can see as the games are going on, I mean, at the start, his first Palace game, he just didn't understand the concept of how fouls work over here. He was just dropping down and expecting a foul, etc. And then afterwards, we saw it. He learned from mistakes, and you saw it against Arsenal. You don't give them set pieces, but since then, he hasn't been as, he's still determined defensively and puts in the effort, but he knows when to go in for a tackle and when not to go in for a tackle. So I've seen gradual improvements, and I think the goal will also boost his confidence as well. But we spoke about the subs, the Lerma and the Deveni subs, they were pretty much towards the end of the game. I don't know if you want to discuss anything about that, but for me, the one that caught my attention was the Mateta for Nketiah sub, because I thought, when Eddie did come on, we looked very composed on the ball. Do you think that was a case of Eddie coming on, or do you think it was just, a coincidence that Eddie came on and we scored from that Munoz great strike from the set piece, and since then we controlled it? Or do you think Eddie actually influenced the second half as well?
I think Eddie definitely influences when he comes on now. He's got energy, and he's bringing a freshness to the lineup, because Mateta's been playing international football. By the way, that 1v1 that Mateta did in the first half, it wasn't a great finish, but you could see Glasner was annoyed about it and then turned around and sort of clapped it and everything. So if Glasner's sort of frustrated by the miss, then he's going to. You can feel safe to know that they're probably working on it, in behind the scenes, in training and stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about his 1v1s, because what Mateta brings to our game is that hold up play, that sort of Benteke-esque, work for the team that he does. The only difference is,
I don't know if you've noticed,
yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Eddie's, if you look at his first touch and his hold-up play, I feel like he understands his role a bit more playing as a number 9 than he did last season when he first joined us, where sometimes keeping it simple is more effective. And I think that's what he's been doing, and that's the reason why he kind of stood out today, because whenever the ball came to him, it's not like he picked up the ball and tried to run past 1 or 2 defenders. He just done everything as he should, as Mateta does, where it's like your first touch is good, you bring others into the game, you make your right runs, and I think that is what Eddie's learning this season, and that's the difference I'm seeing from last season. I've always been a supporter of Eddie in terms of I haven't written him off, and I do think he's going to come good. But also another positive for JP is the fact that he didn't have to play 9 minutes today and got a bit of a rest. Also coming off an injury, let's not forget that as well. I don't know how fit he is, but Glazer did say he picked up a little minor knock in the France squad, so maybe that contributed. But before Eddie was available, when he was injured, there was no one really to play up front, and Mateta has been playing a lot of games so far this season, so it's positive that Glasner trusts Eddie to that extent to bring him on for JP, and we saw the reason why. But looking ahead now, Strasbourg, Alex asked a question to us, and I said that I'm a bit more positive and confident about the game. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I am confident. I think Strasbourg are another sort of team in the vein of AZ Alkmaar, who are going to be a lot more attacking than we can expect from like Larnaca. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I am positive about it, but it's also like an unknown as well. Do you know what I mean? We've never played these guys before, or to my knowledge, at least in recent years. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a one of those games where we got to ease into it and get up to speed with it, I would have thought. Because if you remember the AZ game where they came out of the gates, racing, and we had to come up to the speed of the game ourselves, and then we passed them. So it might be a similar thing, or it might be a whole game of a bit of a struggle. But yeah, I'm confident about it, and I'm confident in our team. What I am a little bit nervous about is the amount of football, like you said, that everybody's playing. We're not entirely, I'm not entirely sure about how Mark is feeling right now. After coming back from that little injury, I think maybe having that shaky first half that you guys are talking about, but then obviously growing into the game. And then hopefully Chris Richards is all right as well, because I'm a big Chris Richards fan, and hopefully it's just a little niggle and a precautionary substitution today.
Hopefully, yeah. There were some people saying in the live watch along how apparently he said it was a cramp, but I don't know. Hopefully that is the case, and even if he's not, you know, you got Cambo who's now coming off the bench, and I don't think anyone is really like overly concerned about it, which is a positive out of the Cambo appearances. But let's see another win today, and hopefully we can get another W on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Richards was raised on an American diet, so you know, hopefully he can recover in time, and he's going to be all right. But you know, who knows? Who knows?
Hopefully. Well, look, great talking to you. Hopefully, catch up with you on Thursday.
You two guys, big win. See you later.
Take care.
Yeah.
Let's bring on Bollocks next. Well, Chris, today you're Chris. You're not Bollocks, because I don't. Yeah, you know how the rules go. Your name. You know, it has terms and conditions around it, depending on performance and win. But today, nice win. 2-0 win.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
Yeah, relatively comfy, like the Brentford at home. Those sort of games that we would struggle with before, and you know, it would normally go against us. And even our goals were pretty marginal, because it did look like, well, it looked very close to Munoz being offside. And it wasn't that far from Lacroix's arm. And then again with other moments, like we could have a couple of penalties. But I think, yes, what people are mentioning is, I would just say that Wharton was, apart from that one stray pass where I think he was in two minds, he was our best standout midfielder today. I don't think the other midfielders were quite at it, but luckily Wolves aren't much to talk about. So you still have to go, you still have to win. I don't think we exhausted ourselves too much, which is good because of Thursday coming around the corner, and then Man United. But yeah, just a nice, comfy win. And I couldn't see anything in Wolves that makes me think they're not going to finish bottom.
Yeah, was you surprised about the amount of time Wharton had on the ball, especially in the first half? I was a bit shocked about their game plan about leaving Wharton open. I know Wharton did make some good movements to get into the space, but at times he had all the time in the world, and it just, I don't know, tactically didn't make any sense to me to leave Wharton that open anyways.
No, I agree. Like often you find yourself thinking, I should be shouting man on or whatever when Wharton's on the ball, because he looks so lethargic and like casual. But it's like he got 3 or 4 touches this time before we even thought about, oh, someone's going to close him down now. It just seemed to be, I don't know what their game plan was there. I think they just struggled in the lack of quality that Wolves have. So it was difficult for them to put a plan together. But we still have to do our job. We still have to be professional about it all and competent and work hard, and they all did. But I think I was a bit disappointed with Sarr today. I thought he would have come off earlier. But Nketiah coming on, as others have said, was a good move. His pace caused him a lot of problems. He's pretty fearless, even if he knows he's going to get cleared out, or get a late kick or whatever. He's still happy to go for it. He's not good in the air, but he's good at putting defenders off, good at being a nuisance and jumping into them. So it's good to see that. Still no Uche. I don't think he came on, did he? My only surprise was that he left the whole game. Pardon?
What was your thoughts on Uche not coming on today? Are you concerned about it?
When we played Brighton, I saw him warming up down line with Klein. It had that real laziest warm up you can see. You just know he's not coming on. So I think he just must just be aware that he's just a last straw. Like, there's nothing else we could do, no one else to go. But I thought it would have been a good game, because they're basically a championship level team, to try and get him a run out. And I don't know where he features, how he features in this team going forward. Even when Sarr's in the AFCON, I don't know if he'll get moments then, like Patrick was saying. That's probably his main hope. But now Nketiah is back, he's obviously going to be third in that pecking order, or fourth if you put Sarr up front. So I don't know. I've not really seen very much of him, but I hope we've got him for a reason. I hope there's something, and hopefully he'll blossom and burst out and stuff and give us something extra off the bench.
Yeah, another clean sheet today as well. Credit to the defense, but I think the whole team. This is what Glasner does. The structure was very good in terms of pressing at the right moments at the right time, and not only just in the second half. In the first half, we saw it as well. No shots on target for Wolves.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they could have probably had one or two at the end there, but yeah, the
Great block
deflection, at
from
Hendo save was a pretty good save, and yeah, some good blocks at the end. But no, just they didn't really concern us. I don't know how many goals Wolves have scored this season, but don't look like they're going to score very many more. So no, it's good. It's done. We got the 3 points. It's good to be. I think we were fourth when I looked at the live table. If it's still the case, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
And unusual to start a season like this. I think it's been since Pardew that we were anywhere near even a top half really at this point in the season. Never mind fourth. I think that's when Leicester won the league. So who knows? Could be our year.
that was going to be my next question. What do you think we can achieve in the league?
Yeah, with all that, with a bit of fortune on our side, we might just be able to sneak into the Champions League, but there's not too many teams to fear. They'll have a little spell.
You have to be a bit more optimistic than that. I thought that was a perfect assist for you to say we might go and win the league, not sneak into the Champions League. I perfectly set you up there, and then you had a howler 1-on-1. That's what it feels like. But no, jokes aside, I know what you mean though. So Champions League spots, is that what you're aiming for? Surely with the Conference League and the December pile up, that could be a bit of a struggle.
I think it'd be a nice up yours to UEFA to skip the Europa League completely and then just go in the Champions League. So I don't know, how we get on in it. I don't even know how we get on in Europa with it. If you got Glasner, anything's possible, but I don't want to dream too much. But why not? We got that team is something remarkable. So much talent all the way through it. We just got to get a bit more depth. I don't think Devaney had a particularly good game when he came on. But somehow we are using the depth to a point. Maybe not quite as much as we need to or want to. But maybe when we do win a game 3 or 4-0, Glasner can do that. But when it's 2-0, you never know.
Hamber, do you reckon we can get Champions League spots?
Yeah. I mean, look, it seems crazy to talk about it, right? And how many times have you seen teams start to talk about this stuff and then, right? But we're talking about this season, right? Forget long term, forget who's staying, who's going. Well, this team, this manager, if everybody stays fit and available, which is a big if considering the number of games we've got to play, of course, there's nobody in this league that we can't beat. We've lost to Everton and Arsenal so far. Everton was an aberration. I'm not sure how we lost that game, but they always seem to do something. Arsenal, we could have got more out of that game. And they are on a roll. So, but what else is there to fear? We're not talking about being fourth after a couple of games and laughing about it. We're 12 games into a season. Nearly doing maths, nearly a third of the way into the season. Not quite, but nearly. And we're sitting fourth, and most importantly, somehow the luckiest team in the league, Brighton, are only a point off us, right? So we've got to make sure we keep pushing up that league for a while yet, and try and get some distance between, us and Danny Welbeck FC. So absolutely, we're not dreaming, we're not being stupid by saying it. We're fourth in the league on merit. And, frankly, we've been unlucky not to have more points on the table than we've actually got. So, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at some of our games, I think we've been unlucky not to win some of those and lucky to get, a point out of it. And that's the positive signs. And that's why I think we're fourth. And we could be higher because, there have been games where we've created, especially very early on in the season, where we created chances, but we just couldn't finish them. We weren't clinical enough. So, and I think we're only getting better as the season goes on. So let's see. But what about Thursday? How are you feeling, Chris?
Yeah.
Well, you're both Chris, right? So that's funny.
It happens.
Yeah.
Ask that one that way.
The battle of the Chris's.
Look, it's as I said earlier, you can't fail to be confident and optimistic, right? But European away games, we're not used to it, are we? So, but you think about the Kiev game, right? That was the game where, you know, everyone says that's the sort of thing that will trip you up. They're not a bad team, you know. Yes, it was played in Poland, so a little bit different than going all the way over to Ukraine. But like, you know, those are the types of games that you think will trip you up, and we just bossed that. And, you know, Strasbourg, people get a little bit carried away with the, you know, the Chelsea B team thing and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, they're not a great team. They're a decent team, but they're not. If you stuck them in the Premier League, would they be fourth after 12 games? No. So we got to be confident.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think I echo that. I don't know if Chilwell has been playing for them very much, but it'd be interesting to see how he copes with Sarr and Munoz running at him, and how he coped with some of his set pieces. Like they were not spectacular for us. He has got a reputation of being good at them. Oh, he scored one against Wolves actually. Didn't he, that deflected one? But no, we should hopefully win. I'd be content off of a draw, but a win would put us in a really good place to then rotate for those final two, which you might need to do. But yeah, it's just excited to be there. Hopefully, we'll give them a good game and come away with the win.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But of course, the good thing is we've got a bit of time till Thursday, and if we can put that game to bed a bit more early on and rotate players, that would be nice ahead of the Man United game. But yeah, lovely today, anyways. Look, Chris, we'll catch up with you again hopefully soon.
Cheerio.
Take care.
Cheers.
Let's bring on Dan next. Dan, massive win for us. 2-0 away from home, of course, against a side that has been struggling so far in the Premier League. But we had to go out there, get the job done, and we did.
Yeah, I'm just talking to my mate here. Like, we know you can always bank on us getting 3 points against Wolves. That's shit.
Yeah, they are. We didn't make it easy for ourselves. I mean, in the second half.
What's that? We haven't lost there now in like 7 visits there. I think 8 visits.
I don't know. I know there's been some great games. I remember Ali saying Eze tearing them apart as well. But what do you think it was today then? The 2-0 win.
I don't know. To be fair, we looked really, really solid in the first half. It was just finishing. It was just finishing and stuff like that. Mateta missing the gilt edge chance. You know, there's a couple of other things that I can't actually remember, but I just remember us just like dominated the first 45 minutes. All right, they come out stronger in the second 45, but it was just getting that goal, I think, and then Wolves would be Wolves, wouldn't they? Just crumbled to pieces. So you know what I mean. It was nice little easy run out for the boys. It was good to you know, give Mateta his little bit of a rest, you know, which is much needed, I feel. Good to see Pino put a near on 90 minutes under his belt. You know, and it's great to see him get his goal as well. And yeah, altogether, I think a thoroughly deserved win. You know, roll on Strasbourg on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree with you there. With Yeremy Pino, it seems like he's just growing by the game, which is nice to see as well. Fantastic goal today. But I thought, even though some people probably disagree, I thought his overall, not 90 minutes, however long he was on for the majority of the game, I thought he was positive. He put that ball in through for Mateta as well in the first half. I know his passing wasn't excellent today, and I know there was, you know, some misplaced passes, but he's getting in the right spaces and he's, you know, understanding, it feels like, Premier League football a bit more, because there is a difference between playing in Spain and over here. And yeah, you can see he's adjusting. Yeah,
I feel it was always going to take time for him to adjust. You know what I mean? We needed to give him time to adjust, but you know, sometimes as Palace fans, we're fickle, aren't we? You know what I mean? Where we want everything like straight away, like bang, 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 bang. And like, I just feel give the boy a chance. You know what I mean? Like, it was always going to come good. You know, the way he was picking out the pockets of space today, and like he was just making Wolves look silly at times. I feel that he had a really, really good game, I feel, and you know, everyone hammering Wharton in the comments, I think they need to go and get another day job, or maybe even Specsavers. You know what I mean? Because like Wharton today, some of his passing is just unreal. You know what I mean? Like the boy has no ceiling at all. You know what I mean? Like, I thought there was levels, and he still got levels and levels and levels to go above.
Yeah, he does, and remember, like Wharton's still young. He's doing this at a young age. He's only going to get better with more experience. I joke about his ceiling currently. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. What about Strasbourg then? Thursday, you said that you were confident.
Yeah, again, D. I don't really know much. I don't really know much about them. I know they got Enciso and they got Ben Chilwell. But yeah, to be fair, under this manager, I feel confident going into any game. You know, I mean, there's no real teams I fear. If I'm being brutally honest with you, you know, we just see what happens. Just play it all game by game. I think we'll probably need at least 6 points, 7 points to qualify for the next phase, like without having to play the playoff game. So you know, everything is it's important that we go out there and you know, make a name for ourselves. You know, because they won't come out in the low block, which is good for us. And to be fair, our away record is one of the best. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, if we win on Thursday, and then hopefully if we was to beat Shelbourne in that Coops game, for example, around there where we have Arsenal and Leeds and, you know, just crazy fixtures, hopefully we should be able to rotate in that game. And, you know, if we win the next week, we should be able to qualify in the top 8. So 2 massive games coming up in Europe. But of course, we've done the job today in the Premier League, and yeah, let's see what happens. But look, Dan, great having you on, and hopefully we'll catch up with you on Thursday.
Nice one, Hambo. Take care. See you later, Dean. Take care.
Cheers.
Let's bring on Tim next. Tim, you was doing a watch along and you moved Hambo once again down there.
I did. Yeah, we can't do that.
You always do Hambo. It's always Hambo. It's always Hambo.
I don't know. I don't know why that is. I have nothing against Hambo. I don't know why that is.
You know why it is, Tim. You know why. But we'll keep this off air.
You keep doing it, Hambo, not me. So I don't know. That's between you two. But
it's agendas. It's agendas. I don't know what's happening.
Watch along today was fun, I guess, because of the game. I saw.
Yeah. I mean, there were moments of frustration, but I think that I just give credit to Hambo here. I think it was that spot on. You know, like your initial take is that, man, were we getting into unbelievable areas in that first half, and over and over and over again. I mean, the finishing wasn't there. There was some decision making, but my goodness, man. I mean, if it was just a lack of putting things together, but there was some really, really good football that Palace were playing in that first half. And then, I mean, there were some moments where it didn't come together and they were changing some things. I will say too, I'm going to back JP on this. I thought I really liked what Eddie did when he came in, but I wonder how much of what Eddie was able to do. This is a question for you both. Was having to do with Anthony Taylor's terrible, by the way, but I'm gonna dig him out on this particular point. There were so many times where Wolves just put their biggest center back on JP and just yanking him down, fouling him over and over and over. It gave him nothing, not a thing, not one free kick on JP. So he had a hard game. I mean, to be fair, if I was Rob Edwards, would I do that to make it harder for Palace to play through JP? Yeah, I probably would. I probably would do that. And it worked. He just didn't have his best game, but he was still good. He had some good moments, but man, I mean, Taylor gave him nothing. And so when Eddie came on and the shape changes a little bit and you're not doing that, you don't have that anymore. And Eddie's running into space. Everything looked more dangerous. Do you think that's fair? Did I see that right?
Yeah, I think they were physical, but JP's faced physical defenders. I mean, I just don't think he, even when he did get opportunities on the ball, I just don't think he had a good game. I don't know what Hambo thought of it.
No, as I'll just go back to what I said earlier, I'm more in agreement with what Tim's saying. I think, but I just think that you've got to correlate the two things. I think you've got to correlate the hour that shift that Mateta put in with the way in which the game was at that point for Eddie to come into. I think if Mateta had a truly poor game and he wasn't trying and everything was going wrong and he wouldn't really work the defenders, the shape, the space, the fatigue that comes into that. And I think that's a really key point from this game as well. When a new manager comes in and he gets the players at it, the players have to be physically fit enough to deal with that, right? It was the same when Glasner came into Palace. He got us working, he got us playing, but after a little while, you could see some of the players didn't have that fitness and that shape really to see the game plan out right properly, like the way he wanted. So we're now one of the fittest teams in the league, and I think Wolves under Edwards will probably improve as he gets them fitter. But you can see it, like, so Mateta worked hard, not a lot came off for him, right? But putting Eddie on at the time he did, Mateta takes credit for the space that was there, and Nketiah takes credit for actually taking advantage of it and being direct, and the game and the opposition did suit him more than they probably suited Mateta overall. I think that's my way of summing it up.
I think that's right. And to be fair to Eddie, I thought he was great when he came on. I was so happy to see Eddie back. I thought he was making great runs. He was running at people. He was getting into space. He's moving the ball. He was great. It was really nice to see Eddie coming back. I do want to shout out two players. First is we need justice for Tyreek. We need justice for Tyreek Mitchell. The man just keeps putting in. I mean, this was not his best performance, but it was solid. Again, he's just doing the job every single time. He picked up the ball many times. He's carrying the ball and carrying it forward into space, into the attacking half, way more than he used to. And I'm just loving that Tyreek is playing more confidently. I don't know what, whatever's going on in England, the agenda against Tyreek Mitchell, you're insane. Like, he ought to be in the England side. That's just nonsense. It's utter nonsense. I don't get it at all. But I thought he was solid again. Just a good game. And I thought, I'm really happy to see. So the other one I have to call out is Richards. It was really like a couple of years ago. A lot of us, myself included, were a little bit nervous about his passing. That's over. His passing today was terrific. He had multiple line-breaking passes. He gets his head up, and he is I think it's interesting that he can be somebody alongside Mark. Both of the outside center backs get forward and look to make a really good line-breaking pass or a diagonal. Richards had I don't remember when it was. His first half, it was a fantastic diagonal out to, I think it was to Mitchell. Just a superb pass that he gets out into space. That gives Wharton freedom and space when both of your center backs are able to carry the ball forward, find a line-breaking pass. It makes it much harder to key on Wharton and or Kamada. And Wharton was my man of the match, but he's helped by how well this defensive unit is playing.
Yeah. Look, I thought Wharton was fantastic. Even in first half, the combination between Yeremy Pino and Wharton, as I've said throughout the show, I think some people maybe I understand why, because you're watching the game and after you have a bit of time to analyze the game and look back at the game, you'll realize how good Pino played. But in the heat of the moment, when he makes one or two misplaced passes, then that slowly just creeps into your mind. Oh, he's not having a good game because of one or two misplaced passes. But Yeremy Pino put Mateta through on goal, and not only
Yeah.
that, I mean, he put through decent balls, not just
Yeah.
one, a few decent balls in that game. And
He has one in the opposition box. He has one. He gets right into position, and he just just a nice cushion. He floats it, and it's set up absolutely perfectly. If somebody can get in there and get a head on it, it's a goal. So
Yeah.
I totally agree, D.
Exactly. And then when you're looking at the defense, we were complete. I think today was just a professional performance. But the thing that I like the most and the thing that I love the most against, I know I'm going a bit back, but I genuinely feel like the game that kind of changed us and got us a bit of momentum was the Liverpool game at Anfield. It 100% was.
We have
3-0
broken
win at
Liverpool. Have
Yeah.
we broken Liverpool?
I mean, we broke them, but they've also helped us as well. Because it seems like
Yeah.
whenever, it weren't like we was in a bad run of form or anything, but since that Liverpool 3-0, we've only conceded one
Yeah.
goal, and we're 5
Yeah.
games unbeaten. And look how many games we've won as well. I think sometimes you need games like that to realize, hold up, wait a minute, we can do this. Yeah, we
Oh,
can do
yeah.
this, just to give you a bit of confidence. And since then, in the last 5 games, I think we played well. I know the Brighton game, we had a few injuries and
Yep.
it wasn't the greatest of performances, but even if you hate to admit it, they are a decent side. They're only one spot behind us right now in terms of how they're doing so far in the Premier League. So that is the reality of the situation. I mean,
Yeah,
So,
but I
yeah.
think we're a much better team. But I agree with that, and I
we are a
think
better team, but they're not a terrible side.
No, they're not a
If we
terrible
move
side.
rivalries
No,
aside.
they're not a terrible side.
Nodding his head saying yes, but they're not. Like, let's just be honest, they're not a terrible side as much as we want them to be terrible.
Luckiest team in the league, without
mean, they-
question. Luckiest team in the league.
They are.
Well,
I mean,
look, their luck is continuing, and they were lucky against us. So
I mean,
it wasn't a bad-
statistically, that's supported, right? Like they have outperformed their XG like by the most of any other team in the league. I think that's true. But yeah, no, just quickly, I was very happy for Pino, and I think if you're feeling, this would be my advice. This is just my take on it. If you're feeling impatient with Pino because he does get into positions and he gives the ball away and things like that happen, can you please maybe remember, this is my take on it, he plays the way Glasner wants him to play. He's always taking risks. He's always moving forward. He's doing exactly what Glasner says he loves his players to do. Keep getting into areas. Keep trying the risky pass. He is unafraid. Sometimes those decisions are terrible, but he is unafraid, right? Like, and that is what Glasner wants. And that is
Glasner
what
did mention even before he joined, when he was talking about profiles to replace Eze, he did mention about maybe having a player do something which Eze couldn't do as well.
That's
and
right.
He spoke about, defensive performances. And I think Yeremy Pino offers a bit more. He's a bit more aggressive off the ball, which Glasner definitely appreciates. So
he loves
it's just
that,
about, and I think he's improving. I think he's improving in terms of when you're looking at his first few games, about the challenges and him going down, and now he kind of gets it. So
yeah.
So yeah, let's see what happens. But anything else, Tim, you want to add?
No, I mean, I hope, apparently Chris Mouth, that it was cramp. But
Hopefully, yeah.
Even if it's not, let's say it's not. He had a thigh issue. So let's say he aggravated the thigh. If that happened, is anybody uncomfortable with JD Canvo coming in and deputizing for him? I'm not.
No,
I'm absolutely confident in that kid.
Yeah, I saw it mentioned people saying, "Oh, Riyad's back," but he's a way off, isn't he? From according to Glasgow,
probably.
So,
Probably.
Unfortunately,
Bobby Mandy said it. I think it was Bobby, anyways. How he's not like consistently back. They're still monitoring him, and he can't really feature as much.
It's just been out so long. You just got.
You can't rush him back. Yeah, Riyad is nowhere. That's why I was shocked when Glazer mentioned ahead of the Alkmaar game that Riyad would be in the squad. I was like, what? Like, how was he even? I didn't expect him to play, even though he said that. But like, it's still surprising to see a player in the squad. I expect him to have a total of like 10 minutes playing time at max right now.
Yeah,
whilst he's
I think to
coming
some
up.
degree you're trying to encourage people, aren't you, and keep them involved. He's been out for a year, so
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's space on the bench for European games as well, right? So
yeah. There's a
Absolutely.
couple of things I want to mention before we draw to a close, because I know you've got to go to work, D, and I've got to get my Chinese, and that's the first thing I wanted to mention. It's been delayed. And they said 15 minutes, and they just text me to say 40 minutes. So if I seem a little off,
Oh,
so I shouldn't laugh, but that is
Come
quite
on.
a delay.
come on, mate. That is a
Yeah.
hell of a delay.
I'm sorry, but that is quite a delay. I was
that is
looking at-
that's not a
busy.
delay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Thank
not
you.
a delay. That's a disgrace. That's what that
Yeah.
is.
And then the second thing is, did you say at the start of the show the lines are open?
Yeah.
It's just not true, is it? What
It
you
is
do is you're just putting a link up for people to join the.
But it is a line. You
We don't have we
don't
don't have
know
phone
what's
lines. We
behind the
used
line.
to. Back in the day, we used to have one phone line. But even
Where?
then, the lines were open would have been a lie. The line is open. It would have been.
Was
So,
it around? Yeah, but we have lines though. That's the thing. That's where we can have multiple people calling at the same time. That's what
But
I don't
that's not-
understand. If I wanted, I
that's
could have
not
put
allowed.
7 people on in the show at the same time.
Yeah, you get people backing you up as well, but I just don't agree with it. You know, You know?
I mean, the
If we
line.
don't have phones,
If
like,
you no, we do.
remember? Do you
Yeah.
remember home phones? Did you have one? Of
Yeah,
those?
yeah, I
know
do.
You
I
were
do,
born in
I
like
do.
2020.
Do you remember? Wait, do you remember dial-ups?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't make a
Those
phone
were
call
the
when
glory
somebody
days.
was on the internet, so you'd have to.
I
fight
bet.
them.
I bet.
So-
Do you haven't ever seen a rotary phone? You know the.
Nah, of course I have. I still have one.
What?
at home.
You still have one?
Yeah.
You still have one?
Good one.
As much. No, I remember. Those were the good days. Those were the good
The
days.
good days. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Now all these iPhones, what do they call it? Samsungs and all of the
See,
other stuff.
Animalistic remembers his first landline number. I still remember all my friends' landline numbers from growing up, all
There
of
you
them,
go.
and
Yep.
mine. But I can't remember what I did this morning, and that is my life. That's my life. So
There you go.
good times.
All right, let's end it on that. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe. Next time you do want to, well, click on a link to the show, not call in, because Hambo
Yeah,
doesn't
just
agree with
click on the
phone.
link to join the show, to join
you go.
the stream.
Even though there is a secret number behind the link. So
Yeah, you can tell them.
yeah, exactly.
It's not a
So-
secret if you say it, is it?
No, but that's the point of the link. That's how they call into the show.
We'll
The
talk
number
about this
can't get
later.
revealed.
I don't
Yeah.
really understand what's happening.
But if you do want to call in next time on Thursday, you can do so because me and Hambo will
Join
be
the
here.
link, not call.
Exactly.
Don't phone.
Yeah.
Just join
Oh
the
yeah.
link.
Well,
Don't phone.
Well,
You
let
won't
us know
get
in the
through.
comment section down below what you think. A link or call. And you can let us know on Thursday when you do call or join the link. But if you have enjoyed this, what you can do, this is universal, you can like the video because this is 100% a video. It is, well, unless you're listening on podcast format, then you might be a bit confused. But right now, as we're recording, it is a video. So hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, up the palace.
Up the
Bye.
palace.